Hello, so presently it's September 30th, 2019. I am on exactly 264 days here at the Mauritius Institute of Education, and my fellowship is actually coming to a quite quick ending. I'll have until about mid-November to finish up any last projects, and it's been a while since I've given some updates. Been running around a lot, been teaching some classes here at MIE, had a really big conference with 260 or 255 teachers that participated, and it was quite an exciting moment. It was really exhausting by the end. The focus of the conference was creativity in the classroom, and that's something that I continually try to bring into my own classes here at the MIE, which is the building where I teach, where we do forming of teachers, formation. We do some research work, and they also do some training as well for teachers who are already in schools. And what am I thinking for my last month and a half? I'd like to do one more conference, I really would, on the topic of inclusive education. Not just inclusive education in the sense of people who have disabilities, but as well people have different languages, religions, ways of learning, kind of inclusivity in the more comprehensive way, and how to make a society that's inclusive. And what kind of practices can teachers do to bring that into the lives of their students? In terms of kite surfing, this weekend I finally was able to stand up on a kite surfing board and continue for a while and come back. So that was incredibly exciting in terms of being able to finally feel more self-sufficient and able to move with freedom. And I've been working out. I've still been playing ping pong at a local community center. I've been going to the gym, spending times not just doing things related to being an English language fellow, but also just time taking care of myself is also very important, because if your whole life is only about what you're doing professionally, at a certain point you will become drained. And that's one of my main suggestions for anyone, is how do you take care of yourself while also taking care of your responsibilities? Because if you just become your responsibilities or just worry about taking care of yourself, you end up being quite a conundrum. In terms of the emotional intelligence work, I've been able to visit 3 different schools. They've been Catholic schools here, 2 boys' schools, 1 girls' school, and I've done different activities to help students become more aware of how their emotions are impacting their sense of learning. And our emotions are the foundation of every decision that we make in our lives. It's why I became really interested in emotional intelligence for myself and also for the students who I work with. And the teachers I work with, because if we allow our emotions to just throw us around like a wind wiper, like on a screen of on the window of a car, when it's raining, you're gonna feel like you're being slapped back and forth. When it's not raining, you're gonna feel wonderful. And somewhere along the way, you need to find some balance of emotional intelligence to relate with what life is giving you, because life gives you lemons. You either create lemonade or you complain. But at the same way, you need to see how you are responsible for how you feel. Very often we blame others for how we feel to gain some sense of control of our situation. We say, well, I wasn't in control, or someone else did this to me, or this student was mean, or this teacher was not nice, or whatever story we create around why something is not working in life can be quite disempowering. Because by the end of all the stories that we create, we have no sense of what actual truth is, because we've only listened to the small sense of what our truth is. So what I've been working on just in myself is to be able to manage what I'm excited about with also what I'm responsible for doing, and to balance those 2 things. So in classes, some of the activities that I've been able to train teachers and students on, one was a statue activity, where students practice staying really still and practice not responding and not being reactive to whatever life is giving them. because very often we respond very strongly to whatever's happening and whatever's being thrown at us, and that ends up disempowering our ability to respond calmly. Another activity is pairing up and connecting physically with someone and then just sharing what you feel, sharing what you're thinking. And often we don't feel very much. Oh, how do you feel? I feel okay. Oh, nothing. I'm all right. But in the depths of our being, there's something missing. What is missing? We don't know. And that's okay to not know what's missing. But the idea is, if you want to be able to be confident in yourself, calm in yourself, you need to be able to be listening within. And most of our life is listening outside. What did he do to me? What did she say to me? I can't believe this happened. And all these kind of superficial thoughts create a dynamic where we can be lost in all of the blah, 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 blah. That's why the statue activity is really important. That's why pairing up and connecting and sharing how you feel honestly is really important. It's quite inspired by this ruler project that's in Yale University, that they made these 5 steps that students and teachers need to be able to do to recognize emotions, label them, express them in healthy ways, and finally regulate them. The way I've been able to regulate emotions in myself is through breathing activities, is through, speaking positively with others, receiving positive speech. And that's one of the activities that I do with students, is have them practice talking positively to each other, because so often it's just negative words, and the negative words that you're giving, you've received them from somewhere else, and then at some point you've taken those words and you've made them your own. You thought that is your voice. You've internalized someone else's voice, someone else's views on you as you. So we need to really work on consciously being positive to each other, as well as seeing, when I say, oh, you are intelligent, oh, you are handsome, oh, you are beautiful, and not just physical traits, but also emotional and personality traits. Oh, you're clever. Oh, you are excited. Oh, you're inspiring. Whatever those compliments are, take a moment, listen to them, and listen to what your mind responds with. Is also really interesting, because often the mind may not respond positively to positive words. And it's something to notice and to study, because it's revealing of one's self-worth. And if you don't have a lot of self-worth, if you have insecurity, then how would you want to be able to learn and be confident and actually believe in yourself? So working on these growth mindset concepts are very important for students and for teachers. Unfortunately or fortunately, we mirror often what we receive. These are more psychological concepts, but also very important for teaching. So if I receive a lot of insults, then I'm going to mirror back insults for people around me. And it's my responsibility to know when I'm in that state, and to at least be aware and bring a little degree of acceptance in it. That's why I think giving kids the opportunity, and adults the opportunity, to be honest and vulnerable is really important for building their emotional intelligence. There is actually an organization that I'm hoping to do some training with. It's called 5 Seconds. 5 or 6 seconds. But what they work on is building emotional intelligence in society. And they have this concept that in 6 seconds, when you have an emotional response or any sort of response to a situation, there's a sort of release of hormones for those 6 seconds, and you feel all these things, whatever it is. Or you may suppress them, because we live in a society in general where people suppress emotions in order to pretend that they are stable and okay. But obviously, when someone does something to you that bothers you, you have a physical, visceral, response that's in your nervous system. And what happens after those hormones are released is it stays in your bloodstream for 6 seconds. And then at that point, the emotional response, let's say the moment of stress, is over, but you're still replaying it physically in your body. So that's why the 6 seconds releases, and you have these 6 seconds of a response, right? But then after, it continues in the bloodstream, it continues in the emotions, it continues in the mind. So people need to become aware of choosing. How they can choose is to see what's happening inside of them and not judge it. I had this happen in one of my classes here at the MIE, where my students were presenting and they were describing being so nervous and feeling insecure and having to present. They had 5-minute presentations on these original TED Talks and original creative writing pieces that they did, and some were really uncomfortable with having all this attention on them. And what I encourage them to do is to realize when they're telling me, oh, I'm nervous, or oh, I can't do this, that there's a part of them inside of them that is feeling nervousness, but they are not nervous all the time, because they described to me how they were practicing doing the conversation, doing the presentation in front of a mirror and feeling completely confident. So what happens between being in front of a mirror where you feel so confident and then going in front of a group of 20 of your peers and feeling completely debilitated? What happened was they allowed the emotion to take control of them, and they became the emotion. And they acted out only that one layer. I am nervous. I am scared. Rather than being an observer of, I'm having an experience of nervousness passing through me right now. So I tried to emphasize that concept to them, that whatever they're experiencing, it's a part of their experience, but it is not all of their experience. I think they really understood that and appreciated that. There's another woman, Mel, who I've been studying. She has a approach called the 5-second approach. And what it teaches is that anytime you need to make a decision, if you do too much thinking, you will think yourself out of doing the actual decision. So what you need to do is say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you just do an action. You get into your body. And what happens is, in getting into your body, you end up being more in control of your actions rather than allowing your fears or whatever you have in your thinking, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm not this enough, or I'm not that enough, to control your actions. Because very easily your mind will go into a habitual way of thinking and create a certain way of being, and you will keep doing that and wondering why you keep repeating the same thing over and over. So I found this a really nice technique for being able to get up early in the morning, and I'm hoping to teach it to my students in these upcoming weeks while I'm still here in Mauritius. I'm hopeful for the possibility to be able to return to Madagascar to teach there in mid-November if given the opportunity. I had a wonderful conference there with another 8 fellows, all from Southern African region, and we had a great time, and I really appreciated the musical aspect of working there. What else can I say? What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to soon see my family. I'm very hopeful to be able to return for a second year at the Mauritius Institute of Education. I'd really like to do more work on the topic of sustainability. So you can see there's trees over here. This used to be a forest. Now if you look in the distance, right over there, a lot of sugarcane. So much of Mauritius has already been deforested of their endemic forests, of their original forests that were here. And trees come back, but it's not necessarily the ones that were indigenous to here. So there's a man, his name is Pascal, and he's actually working on planting 200 trees throughout the island. And I would like to launch a project called Plant Art with another teacher here at the MIE, his name is Vic. And what we're hoping to do is encourage students to work in teams to create art on the theme of sustainability. Now, art is physical, right? The painting or sculpture, but as well, creative writing is a form of art. Art is responding to life creatively. And I'd like that to also be students responding to nature. Now, nature is not just plants and fauna. Nature is also human beings. Human beings are part of nature. So I'd also like people who are going to be participating, these students, in this competition, to respond, to create poetry, writing, art on the theme of the nature of humans, the nature of emotions, the nature of relationships, the nature of their values, the nature of oneself, the nature of relationships to nature, so that sustainability can be extended to a concept of how do you relate to the world around you, your relationships, and as well as the world within you, the nature of all of your relationships. There was a wonderful project actually happening here at Mauritius through an organization called Conservation Reef, because we have reefs all around Mauritius, that was focusing on educating the teachers here, and as well they go to different schools. They have I think 150 partner schools, and they were focusing on educating people on the health of the reefs, the ocean, and as well they were doing a lot of work on the topic of plastic. And I love one of the points that a woman had said. We could say plastic is the problem because we see plastic all over, but all that plastic came into someone's hand and then was thrown away. This one-use plastic things, these styrofoam, I even use them and I feel incredibly guilty because you use it, then use it one time and you throw it away. And what she was actually educating us about that I had never known is that toothpaste, soap, shampoo. A lot of our products that we even ingest in our body have plastic in them. When we have plastic, these plastics that are biodegradable become little pieces of plastic that later on fish eat, and then we eat, and then it goes into our system, and then we wonder why we're having cancer or other sicknesses based on our own creations of development. But the developing nature is also making people sick. So that's why I'm having students in one of my classes create these little audios, podcasts. It's my fourth time doing it actually with students on problems facing young people in Mauritius. And one of them was about health issues. They're going to do teen pregnancy, their podcast. They're going to do it on depression, suicide, basically issues that people don't talk about that still impact each other's lives. Synthetic drugs is also an issue here. Mauritius is one of the top in Africa for this. As well as much development, not only challenges, but how do we balance the positive aspects of our reality with the more areas of growth? This is the question. So we'll see what they can come up with next week. It's actually going to be this week they're going to be doing the recordings. What else can I share with you? I'm keeping up my breathing, doing yoga. Can't think of much more. I'm just looking forward to the opportunity to continually be creating new ideas, sharing new ideas, staying more grounded, collaborating with others. There's also a teacher from South Africa, another one from India. They're both researchers, and I'm hoping to do this conference with them if we can organize it. Not if we will organize it. It will happen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, do it. So I have about a month and a half of classes. I'm excited for this opportunity to potentially come back. We're doing another project that I helped connect our university with one in British Columbia, the African language project, and we're going to be translating 4 different stories into Creole, Mauritian Creole, and then have a website created for our school and for students throughout Mauritius. So it'll have Creole, French, and English, and I'm going to be helping with doing the literature review for it. So that's exciting. I would like to do some publications. I would also like to work with another fellow called Anne, and she was actually in Namibia, and when I go back to New York, she may be there, and I'm hoping to do some storytelling work with her. I'd like to create a small overview of my time here to share it with teachers when I go back to New York, because I bet I could share some really nice stories with teachers and students and give them an experience of emotional intelligence and just what I've been working on here in Africa. I'd like to become an emotionally intelligent, certified teacher. Do more of that work when I go to America or wherever I end up teaching in the future. And can't think of much more. I've been swimming, been just doing self-care and freshman care. That's where we're at, September 30th, 2019. Wishing you a wonderful day, morning, or afternoon, or evening, and thank you for spending the time to check out my little vlog. Have a great day.